My name is Nom Layton. I'm 27. I work as a field technician for a small power company in Dayton, Ohio. 6 days a week, 12 hours a day. No benefits, no handouts. I bought my first car last month. Brand new, silver, clean title in my name only. It wasn't just transportation. It was proof I could build something on my own. Without them, Celine was always the one they favored. My sister, the chaos wrapped in perfume and bad decisions. They bailed her out of 3 wrecks, paid off a 4th with money they borrowed from my savings. I was 16 when that happened. Mom called it a family emergency. I called it robbery. I stayed quiet, always, until last night. The spot was empty. Just concrete. No tire marks. No glass. Just gone. I dropped my keys, picked them up in silence. My heart felt like it missed a beat. Then another. I scanned the lot. The surrounding cars were still there. I counted twice. My car wasn't. I called my mom. Celine needed a reliable car, she said. That was her tone. Like she just gave someone a lift home from church. Like she hadn't just handed over my keys without asking. You gave her the spare? I asked. She's your sister. After she crashed 4 cars? Silence. Then the softest laugh. Oh, no. Don't make a big deal. You've always been so dramatic. There it was again. That line. That invisible stamp they'd always pressed on my forehead. The quiet son. The good boy. The reliable doormat. My hand clenched the phone until my knuckles cracked. Then I did what I'd never done in 27 years. I said, okay, give me a minute. And I called the police. The 911 operator took my report in a flat voice, asked for details, plate number, VIN, proof of purchase. Did someone borrow the car with permission? No, not from me. It's my car. My voice was tight, like a rope pulled too far. They said an officer would come by within the hour. I sat on the curb, eyes burning. Wind bit at my cheeks. My phone buzzed again. Text from Celine. Relax. I just needed it for work. Don't freak out. It's not like I stole it. I stared at the screen. Read the message twice. Then again. It wasn't the text. It was the tone. Like I owed her. Like she did me a favor. Above me, the apartment lights flickered once. Then steadied. Behind me, somewhere in the dark, a door opened. Footsteps. Then nothing. People say family's supposed to be your first home. But sometimes, family is the storm that tears the roof off. I stood, looked back toward the shadow behind the stairwell. No one there. But my gut twisted. They say the universe sends warnings. This one came in metal, silence, and stolen trust. If they think I'll roll over like I always do, they picked the wrong night to steal from me. Officer Riley Vargas showed up 10 minutes earlier than dispatch estimated. Black boots, clipboard in hand, bulletproof calm. You Nom Layton? Yes. This your address confirmed by ID? I nodded. She tapped a few keys on her tablet. The air smelled like stale coffee and cold asphalt. Behind us, someone coughed on a balcony. No lights turned on. Eyes watched from shadows. Your sister has a history, she asked, flipping through my statement. 4 totaled cars. 2 DUIs. Last one, my mom paid the deductible out of my savings. She have permission to use your vehicle? No, not from me. That's enough. She said it like she'd said it 100 times before. Just because someone's family doesn't make it legal. We're opening this as an unauthorized use case, potential grand theft auto. You said the title's under your name. I handed her the manila folder I kept in the fireproof box under my bed. Copies of title, insurance, purchase receipts, key issuance form from the dealership. She whistled softly. You're organized. That's good. Paper saves you when people lie. I didn't respond. I couldn't. There's something humiliating about proving you own what's yours. Her phone buzzed. She stepped away, muttering. I heard the words plate match and county alert. Behind me, my phone vibrated. Text from my mother. Don't make this worse than it is. Celine was going to bring it back. Celine, always with the after-the-fact apologies, never accountability. Like gravity didn't apply to her. The rest of us fell. She floated. Ever heard the phrase, there are two kinds of fire, one that warms, one that burns? Vargas said, returning. Sure. Some families confuse the second for the first. I said nothing. She continued typing. I'm submitting the vehicle to the statewide stolen car database. If it's pulled over anywhere in Ohio, they'll detain the driver and notify us. Cut scene. 10 hours later. My phone rang while I was in line for a vending machine at work. Jess Farrow, my coworker, stood next to me, sipping stale coffee. Her brows lifted. I answered. Celine's voice slithered through. You really called the cops? You psycho. You really took my car? I was going to give it back. You just blew this up. You have a license. Silence. You didn't even have a license when you took it. Do you know what that means? She laughed. You've always been such a martyr. Like we owe you something. I hung up. Jess raised an eyebrow. Family drama? Something like that. You don't look like someone who loses things. I shrugged. Maybe I'm just tired of letting people take. Cut scene. That evening, Officer Vargas called back. We've flagged activity. A traffic cam caught your plate near Route 4. The timestamp lines up with when you said it disappeared. Who was driving? Too dark. But we're working with motel security in that area. Your car might have been spotted there. I stood still in the break room, holding a styrofoam cup that was shaking slightly. Not from heat. Jess walked in. You okay? They found it. Maybe. Need a ride. Can you drop me at home? As she drove, Jess asked, You think Celine's behind this completely? No. Celine doesn't know how to erase a VIN ping off a camera feed. Jess didn't reply, just nodded, eyes fixed on the road. Her voice dropped a note. People like Celine, they don't act alone. They need enablers. People who clean up behind them. Cut scene. We reached my place. Apartment dark. Door locked. I walked in. Silence. But something felt. Shifted. I checked my bedroom. Drawers were fine. Desk? My laptop was on. I never leave it on. Browser tab open. Gmail. Draft folder. One draft. Subject. Insurance claim. Vehicle totaled. Timestamped. 5:12 a.m. The morning after the car vanished. But I didn't write it. I read it again. It detailed the incident, damage, and listed a repair estimate. Attachment. Fake photo of a wrecked front bumper. Silver, same model. Goosebumps. My own computer. Someone sat here. Typed this. On my machine. I closed the laptop. Backed away. Called Vargas. I think someone's in my accounts. Secure your Wi-Fi. Change your passwords. Screenshot everything. I'm filing it as tampering and potential digital fraud. Jess texted. Your sister just posted something. You should see it. It was a reel. Background music. Celine doing her makeup. Text overlaid. Some people are so broke, all they have is their truth. So sad. That night, my apartment lights flickered. Twice. Then died. Seconds passed. Then a thud. Near the back window. I crawled over, hard in my throat, and peeked through the blinds. Nothing. But something was off. Like air had shifted. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. One line. Back off. Or it won't just be your car that disappears next. The voice was masked, but the threat was real, and suddenly it wasn't just about a car anymore. I didn't sleep. I sat in the corner of my apartment, eyes on the door, knife on the floor beside me. No one came, but that didn't mean no one was there. The next morning, I walked into AMC's downtown branch and requested their parking lot footage. They gave me the runaround until I asked to speak to a regional compliance officer and mentioned active police investigation. Then things moved. The lot camera showed grainy footage, too grainy. A person in a hoodie climbed into my car around 3:14 a.m. No face, just limbs and shadows. The person drove off like they'd done it 100 times. This footage's been compressed, Jess muttered beside me. She leaned closer. Timestamp's been re-encoded. That's not normal. I looked at her. How do you know that? My ex-boyfriend was a tech consultant, for all the wrong reasons. Cut scene. Jess took me to her apartment. 2 cats, stacks of old hard drives, a microwave that worked if you kicked it. She pulled the motel footage from the flash drive Officer Vargas emailed earlier. The frame showed my car in the lot. Parked. Unmoved. Then skip. A half-second glitch. Frame stuttered. Suddenly, the car was gone. That's not a camera issue, she said. That's a file being altered post-export. You're saying someone edited it after the fact. She nodded. And poorly. They missed a ghost frame. Hey, what? She paused the video. One single black blip. A single frame before the cut, my license plate. Still visible. So they edited it to hide when the car was moved? Yeah, but they didn't delete it. They just tried to bend the timeline. Why? Jess didn't answer. Silence. Then she pulled out a USB decoder and ran a recovery script. A second later, a subfolder popped up. temp/.cache/.export_log. Inside it, a batch export file with metadata. I leaned in. Exported. 4:02 a.m. Source IP. 192.87.13.76. Location. Dayton Riverbridge Apartments. That was my complex. Not the motel. Not Celine. The edit didn't happen there. It happened here. On someone's laptop. In my building. That means someone local has the raw footage, Jess said. And they have access to police-submitted files. Or someone in the motel sent it to them. Or both. I felt my stomach knot. There's something worse than being stolen from. It's being framed for your own theft. Jess turned. What exactly is your sister into? She's chaos. That's her brand. That's not enough. I stood, paced, windows closed, curtains drawn. The street outside felt quiet, too quiet. Someone once told me, I said, that people only act like monsters when they know someone else will clean up the mess. Celine's had cleaners her whole life. Jess looked up. Then let's find the janitor. Cut scene. I emailed Officer Vargas the footage log and the edited export data. She replied 10 minutes later. Got it. This helps. Meet me at station tomorrow, 8 a.m. Bring the flash drive. Later that night, I walked past my neighbor's unit. The door was ajar. Same building, 2 floors up. Riverbridge 4C. Someone watched from behind the door. The eye pulled back. Door closed. Next morning I got a call. From a number I didn't recognize. The voice was young. Calm. Male. You're getting too close. Who is this? You think Celine planned this alone? Try me. Go ahead. Ask her about Nolan. Click. No caller ID. No trace. I pulled up Celine's social again. She deleted the reel. New story posted. Black screen. 1 line of text. Sometimes the best way to keep a secret is to make them scream about the wrong one. I stared at it, then called her. She didn't answer. Then texted me. You're being so dramatic, Nam. It's not like I crashed it or something. I read it twice. Not like I crashed it. Not like. I forwarded it to Vargas. Half an hour later, she called. Your sister just filed a report. Says you threatened her. What? She's accusing you of coercion, saying you stole the car back and are faking everything. That's insane. She submitted screenshots, claimed you created false documents and are manipulating video footage. She's the one who took. I believe you, but this makes it messier. A lot messier. I stood at my apartment window. Someone across the street held up their phone. Camera facing me. They clicked once, then disappeared into a black SUV. I whispered to myself, this was never about the car. By noon, I was standing outside Celine's condo, fists clenched inside my coat pockets. She lived in a high-rise downtown, paid for by our parents, until she got back on her feet. That excuse had been going on for 6 years. I buzzed the intercom. No answer. Buzzed again. Nothing. I turned to leave. Then the door opened behind me. Not Celine. A man. Mid-30s. Clean haircut, business casual. He looked surprised and annoyed. You her brother? He asked. Who's asking? I'm Nolan. Just like that. The name from the mystery call. The one Celine didn't want me to know existed. I stared at him. You've got some nerve showing up here. He laughed once. You think you know what this is. I didn't answer. He stepped out, pulling the door shut behind him. Your sister's in over her head, he said, but not in the way you think. Start talking. He looked me over, assessing. Ever wonder why she's always between jobs? Or why your parents never press her on anything? I crossed my arms. She's always been the golden child. That's not news. He leaned in. No, it's because they're involved too. Excuse me. Celine's not just reckless, she's useful. For laundering. I blinked. You're saying my family is. I'm saying your car was collateral. For a deal gone sideways. Celine didn't steal it. She traded it. To buy time. Cut scene. My ears rang. Street sounds faded. The world narrowed. How do you know this? I was her partner. Once. You're a scammer? He scoffed. I was a fixer. Now I'm a target. I grabbed his coat collar. Tell me who has my car. Not who. What? They turned it into a ghost car. Wiped the VIN, spoofed the tags. That vehicle doesn't exist anymore. I let him go. You have proof. Nolan reached into his jacket slowly and pulled out a folded envelope. Inside a photo. My car. Same scratch on the rear bumper. Same dent near the headlight. Only this time it was parked inside a warehouse. No plates. No trace. A note scrawled across the bottom. Don't come looking. I looked up. Where was this taken? I don't know, but I can find out. Cut scene. 2 hours later, Jess and I sat across from Nolan in her living room. He pulled out a burner laptop and opened a map overlay tool. This, he said, tapping the screen, is a license-free facility camera grid. Black sites for cars. Illegal. Jess asked. Undocumented. He ran an image scan on the warehouse from the photo. 10 seconds passed. Then, hit. A match. Outside Dayton. Near an abandoned plastics factory. Jess leaned forward. That place burned down 3 years ago. Exactly. No one checks what's rebuilt in the shell. I stood. I'm going. Jess grabbed my arm. You're not walking into that alone. I'm not asking. She didn't let go. And if you don't come back... I've lived my whole life playing it safe. Look where that got me. Nolan stood too. We go together. I'll drive. Cut scene. The factory was a husk. Metal siding peeled like skin. Ash coated the ground. But behind it, new construction. High fences. Surveillance towers. Nolan killed the engine. We crept closer on foot, cutting through dry brush. A shadow moved inside the compound. Then 2 more. Men. Armed. Security, but not official. I whispered, "What the hell is this place?" Nolan didn't answer. Jess muttered, "This isn't just about a stolen car." "Nothing ever is," I said. "Everyone's chasing power. Some just use family to hide the tracks." She looked at me. That sounded rehearsed. It's been echoing in my head for years. We circled left, found a gap in the fencing, slipped through. Inside the lot, rows of stripped vehicles, blank vents, covered in tarps, and at the far end, my car. I moved before thinking. Jess hissed, "Nom." I sprinted, reached it, hand on the driver's side window, then stopped. The back seat, a bag, half unzipped. Inside, documents, bank statements, shell accounts, my name on a wire form I'd never signed. Someone was laundering money through my identity. Nolan appeared beside me, his voice low. "Urgent. That's why they set you up. Your clean record. Your name's the exit route." "You knew." He hesitated. I saw it in his eyes before he spoke. "You weren't supposed to be part of it. Celine said you wouldn't fight back." That's when the red light snapped on above us. Motion detector. Alarms blared. Floodlights lit up the yard. Footsteps. Yelling. I grabbed the documents. Slammed the door shut. Jess screamed, "Run!" as boots hit gravel behind us. That's when I realized. They didn't just want my car gone. They wanted me gone with it. Rain slapped the pavement as we raced toward the bridge underpass. Wind tore at our jackets. The surveillance photos burned in my mind like acid. Nolan drove. Headlights cut through the sheets of rain. Jess clutched the flash, drive tight in her fist, white-knuckled. "Once you play with fire, don't be surprised when you burn," she murmured. I heard it as thunder in my chest. We slowed under the overpass. Water pooled at the concrete pillars. A lone street lamp flickered, casting a sick yellow halo on damp asphalt. I stepped out first. Wet gravel crunched under my boots. "Stay close," I said. There was noise ahead. Footsteps. Echoes. Then a shape moved under the lamp. A man, tall, wearing a dark jacket, hood up. Could be Nolan. Could be someone else. My heart pinched. "Derek." I called. He stopped. Slowly turned. I saw the glint of metal. "A gun." "Nailed it," he said. Voice smooth, soft. "Dangerous." Without pause he fired. Bullets cracked. Rain pounded harder. I dropped, sliding behind a concrete pillar. Jess screamed, then silence. Water mixed with red on the concrete. My pulse thundered. I reached for the flash drive, pulled it free. A second shot. I heard wet fabric tear. A grunt. Nolan's groan cut through the noise. I crawled, pulled Nolan out. He coughed, spat blood, eyes glassy, but alive. "Get the files to Vargas," I said. He nodded. Head spun. Rain washed the crime scene. The overpass swallowed the sound of sirens long before I heard them. I limped, half carting Nolan, half carrying the flash drive. Jess ran with us, heavy boots slipping. She shouted, "They'll arrest us if we don't move fast." We reached the car. The engine roared to life. Nolan slammed the door shut. Tires spat water. We peeled out, leaving the underpass behind in a blur of headlights and rain. Cut scene. Inside the car, silence. Nolan's breathing ragged. Jess stared at the drive in her lap. I stared out the window. Rain streaking across glass like tears I couldn't shed. We reached Vargas Precinct before dawn. The lobby was empty. Cold. The only light came from a flickering hallway bulb. I carried Nolan inside. A desk clerk frowned. I showed the ID badge Vargas gave me earlier. The door unlocked. Moments later, sirens flared outside. Uniforms. Guns. Flashlights. The drive went into evidence. Vargas led me out. Rain still fell. Cold. Relentless. She looked at me. then at the drive, then back at me. "Good work," she said. No warm tone, no relief, just the weight of knowing. We spent hours watching Derek's digital trail unravel. Email logs, bank transfers, shell company invoices, tax evasion, forged liens, insurance fraud, arson. Everything pointed to him. Celine's name was there too, on paper but crossed out, blurred, wiped. She was collateral damage. Or maybe a pawn. Vargas slid me a tentative smile. "You got him." I didn't say that I lost something in return. Cut scene. Later, at night, I stepped outside the precinct. Rain had stopped. The city exhaled. Lights glowed weak. Jess appeared beside me. She handed me a paper. Temporary bond terms for Nolan. He'd be released under supervision pending trial. I folded the paper. My fingers shook. I remembered the dent in my car. The bag in the back seat with the laundered documents. My name on forged bank wires. They almost erased me. Jess put a hand on my shoulder. "You okay?" I looked up, eyes heavy, voice low. "I'm not the same man who walked into this mess." She nodded. "Maybe good things don't wait for permission." We walked to her car. Cut scene. At home, the darkness welcomed me, but didn't hide me. I left the flash drive on the kitchen table. Opened the folder. Pictures of Derek. Invoices. Security cam stills. Timestamps galore. I printed everything. Boxed it. I named it Truth File, River Bridge, and Underpass. Then I locked the box in my car trunk. Rain started again. Soft at first. A whisper. A warning. Outside, headlights passed. A silver sedan. I registered the shape. Cold dread knotted my stomach. My old car? No. Nothing looked the same. I stepped onto the porch. The street looked empty. But I felt watched. Always watched. They called it cleaning up evidence. I called it buried souls. I whispered as I closed the door behind me. I took back my car, but what they stole from me runs far deeper. The courthouse steps were still slick from the morning rain when I walked out, the November air sharp enough to sting. Reporters hovered near the edges of the plaza like vultures waiting for a warm body. Cameras pointing toward the revolving glass doors. They weren't here for me, not yet anyway. They were here for Derek, marched out minutes earlier in cuffs. Chin raised like arrogance could shield him from the fall. I kept walking, shoulders squared, breath steady. Inside my jacket pocket was the official statement Vargas handed me. My name at the top, primary cooperating witness, stamped in black. I traced the edge of the paper with my thumb, feeling the weight of everything it cost me. A voice echoed in my head, something my high school coach used to say. Most battles are won long before anyone sees the field. Back then, I thought it was about discipline. Today, it felt like a prophecy. Cut scene. I reached the parking garage. Quiet, dim, smelled like oil and cold metal. My new car, the one completely, unapologetically mine, waited on the second level. Clean lines, silver paint, unclaimed by anyone's chaos but mine. I clicked the key fob. Lights blinked. For once, nothing felt stolen from me. Jess appeared behind me, steps soft. "He's not getting out anytime soon," she said. The feds filed their own charges. Tax fraud, shell corporations, interstate laundering. He's cooked. I nodded. Relief didn't come as fast as I expected. Victory never looks like the movies. It's quieter, dimmer. Sometimes it just feels like surviving. We leaned against the car. The city hummed in the distance. "You did everything right," she said. "No," I replied. "I just stopped letting people decide who I'm supposed to be." She smiled at that. That's usually the beginning of something better. Cut scene. The next day my parents called, both of them on speaker. Their voices trembled in that way people sound when the script they relied on their whole lives has been rewritten without notice. "Colt," my father murmured, we didn't know it would go this far." It always goes this far, I said. You just never noticed because I was the one taking the hits. My mother exhaled shakily. We never wanted you to feel alone. That's exactly what you taught me to be. There was a long, hollow pause. Maybe they wanted forgiveness. Maybe they didn't deserve it. People like to pretend blood is thicker than reality. But sometimes family is just the first place you learn what betrayal feels like. I need space, I said. Real space. Not the kind you walk back from in a week. My father whispered something that sounded like regret. My mother sniffled. The line clicked off before either of them found the right words. Cut scene. Weeks passed. Nolan recovered. The bruises faded. The stitches came out. He'd be dealing with probation violations for a long time, but we stayed in touch. Trauma bonds aren't always healthy, but they're real. Jess transferred to a different unit. She sent me a photo of her desk plant on the first day, captioned, "New soil, new roots." I laughed harder at that than I had in months. Vargas closed the case file in December. She shook my hand outside the precinct. "You crawled through hell," she said. "Most people don't make it back." "I didn't crawl," I answered. "I clawed." She smirked. "Good. Keep doing that." Cut scene. On Christmas Eve, I stood on my dry balcony overlooking Columbus. The skyline glowed against the dark, quiet lights, steady and unbothered. The kind of view people fight their way toward. Snow began to fall. Slow, gentle, almost unreal. The wind carried a memory, my father once telling me, "Strength is knowing when to keep going." Back then, I believed him. Now I knew better. Strength is knowing when to stop, when to shut the door, when to walk away, when to choose yourself. My sister Celine would face sentencing in January. I didn't feel triumph or revenge, just closure. Maybe that's its own kind of peace. I held a mug of black coffee between my palms and whispered to no one, "I'm done carrying the weight that isn't mine." Snow settled on the balcony rail like a quiet blessing. Inside, my new car key sat on the table. A small thing, metal, cold, but symbolic in a way no courtroom verdict could match. It was the first thing in my life no one had taken, no one had claimed, no one had ruined. And for the first time, I didn't feel like the family's afterthought. I felt like a man building something of his own. A life with walls that didn't crumble when someone else leaned too hard against them. A future that didn't require forgiveness to function. A self that didn't need permission to exist. Cut scene. I stepped back inside as the snow thickened, soft and soundless. Some stories end with reconciliation. Some with destruction. Mine ended with reclamation. Because sometimes the only way out is through the fire. And sometimes the fire is the thing that finally shows you who you were meant to be all along.